So today is what's popularly known as the Lions Gate. And I wanted to first start off with a couple of the reasons why this day, and also what the larger picture of what it might, what the Lions Gate might be. So I mentioned in my podcast, there is the Lions Gate is associated, there's a squeaky noise. Maybe everybody mute themselves, or I think I know how to group mute. I'll figure it out. Anyways, in Egypt, the Lion's Gate is associated with what's known as the heliacal rising of the star Sirius. Heliacal rising just means that a star stops being visible and then it starts being visible again, and it's visible for a certain period of time. So Sirius is just popping itself up over the horizon. If you're on the plateau in Giza, you can see it right at dawn, and Sirius is the brightest star in our night sky. It just so happens if you live somewhere where the latitude is 20 to 50 degrees north, this window of time that is one of the ways that we think of the Lion's Gate is actually from the 24th of July to the 21st of August would be the date where if you went out and you looked east or you looked toward the sunrise, you could see Sirius pop its little self up. It was a big deal in Egypt because it was associated with what they saw as the flooding of the Nile. If you do your research, it's not, exact all the time, but it was, the Nile was their life force, their prana. And also I've come to understand that their pyramids have aquifers beneath them. So the water is what turned the pyramids on. And I wanted to just give a little caveat about pyramids and what I've come to understand them to be. So part of this is going to be associated with Sirius. Part of this is just pyramids as sources of power. So it just so happens that Nikola Tesla was obsessed with the Egyptian pyramids. It's unclear why, because a lot of his work was stolen when he passed. But he was very interested in power generation. And I don't know if you guys have, I think it was about a year ago, I presented on the pyramids that they just found in Bosnia. And there's a guy who looks a lot like Indiana Jones. I forget his name. But they've measured that they've measured what's called some kind of a healing energy that comes out from this pyramid in Bosnia. I'm going to get back to the pyramids in Egypt. So the pyramid in Bosnia also has water beneath it, and it has these tunnels beneath it. And there's so much healing energy in that pyramid that they only let human beings go there for a matter of 2 to 3 hours because we're not accustomed to the energy that's coming off underneath that pyramid. They've also been able to measure above the pyramid. The pyramid, if you look at it from photos, I think I might even have a screen share. If I was super prepared, let's see how prepared I was today. I'm not prepared. Okay. Anyway, if you look, what am I sharing? I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm sharing my screen. If you look at the pyramids in Bosnia from above, they haven't been found because they're covered in a layer of dirt, and that dirt has grown things like bushes and small vegetation over it. But it's definitely the shape of a pyramid, and they've measured off the top of the pyramid. And I'm going to get back to Giza in a second. There's some kind of energy that comes off the top of that pyramid that gets stronger the farther away one gets from the pyramid. So entertaining the idea of pyramids as power generators. I'm not going to connect all the dots today because this is just something I was up meditating, and I had half the presentation prepared, and then all this stuff just popped through. So the Egyptians associated the Lion's Gate with this appearance of Sirius in their night sky. It also happens that the pyramids themselves are positioned according to the stars in Orion's belt. I'll connect these dots here in a second. So there's a brief picture of that. And then you can see that there's a phenomenon of pyramids being associated with the stars in Orion's belt. So you can see that the Giza is most exact with how they line up, but you've also got Teotihuacan and the pyramids in China. Considering that these things might be positioned to energetically communicate something. So let's talk about Sirius. Oh wait, the other reason why we call it the Lion's Gate. The Lion's Gate is also when the sun enters Leo. It just so happens between the 28th of July and the 12th of August, depending on the way things go, or all the time, our sun, the star Sirius, and Orion's belt, and Earth all line up. I've talked before, and I'll talk again about the idea of Sirius as a central sun to our sun, and that within there's another central sun to Sirius, and so that we get the times when things align are times when we can have downloads. So during this time of the Lion's Gate, in general, I like to think of it as a portal of sorts. For whatever reason resonates for you, I'm just offering some different ideas. Sirius is definitely relevant to the Lion's Gate in the sense that in both of the ways that they talk about this, it's Sirius is a focal point. So let's talk about Sirius. I am going to lean on a book that I wrote, a calendar that I published. Cosmic Timekeeper. I'll put it back in the publication, but it's the idea is that the Mayans and the Aztecs and the Egyptians kept time in a different way. We know about the lunar cycles, the 13 lunar cycles. They were accustomed to that, and they used Sirius as a jumping off point. Many ancient civilizations used something going on with Sirius as a basis for keeping time. I offer that that is because of this central sun idea, where we have our sun and then we have Sirius that is a central sun to our sun. I'm going to share my screen and give you a little excerpt of this book to show you one of the reasons why that might be interesting to us. So here is a picture. Figure 7 shows the binary nature of how our sun and Sirius rotate around each other. So if our sun is on the left side and it's yellow, and Sirius is on the right side and it's blue, ancients thought of it as and the figure 6 above is the Yuga cycles, the Hindu Yuga cycles. And I talk a lot about, we've been through times of darkness, we're going into times of light. That's part of the age of Aquarius. It's part of the light that we're remembering. So the idea is the farther away our sun and Sirius are, the more humanity gets into darkness. The closer they get, the more we and our planet wake up. Okay. So when we consider that, we're gonna do a couple different things. I'm gonna talk about what is known about Sirius. So up until 1970, scientists were sure there was only one star, Sirius A. Around the invention of 1970, they invented a super powerful telescope. They were able to spot what is now known as Sirius B. I'll do another screen share. So Sirius B is, Sirius A is the brightest star in our sky. Sirius B is also, it's a bright star, but they're so close together, you can see in this excerpt that for the human eye, you can't see it. You needed this big telescope. So if you look at this, you can kind of see to the big bright star, Sirius A, and then in the figure 4, it's kind of above and to the right, and figure 5, it's kind of down to the left, but they're super close. So let's hop to the Dogon tribe in Mali of West Africa. I mentioned this in the podcast. They're known to be of Egyptian descent. They have myths about astronomy that date back to 3200 BC. They told some French anthropologists in the 1930s who went to visit them some of the things that they had come to understand about Sirius. One of which was there was a heavy, dense star that was a companion star to Sirius A that wasn't visible from the human eye. Interesting. Where did they get this information from? They claimed that it came from a race of evolved beings called the Nomos. The Nomos were amphibious people who came in what they describe as to be very much a lot like a flying saucer and landed. The Nomos also appear in Babylonian myth, in Akkadian myth, and in Sumerian myth. Isis in Egypt is also associated with Sirius. In Egypt, Isis is Sirius, Osiris is Orion. And I've mentioned the star shafts in the Great Pyramid. Well, in the Queen's Chamber, Isis, Sirius, has a star shaft where you can lines up. And in the King's Chamber, Osiris, Orion, has a star shaft. So the Nomos gave the Dogon information about Sirius A and Sirius B. They also gave, I mentioned in the podcast, some other information that the Dogon had no reason to know about the rings around planets and moons and things like that. And the Dogon also speak of another star called Eme-Ya, larger than Sirius B, but less dense. Dim in magnitude. Scientists are conjecturing, they're arguing about the existence of Sirius C. Sirius C would be a red dwarf star, and they're doing gravitational studies. A lot of them have found they think something's out there, but they can't put their finger on it. So I'm going to read next from what is one of the ways that I've come to learn about Sirius. Some of this stuff is just the dot sign up, but I've mentioned her book before. This is a book by a woman named Patricia Corey, and the book's titled Where Pharaohs Dwell. And she's also the author of what is known as the Sirian Revelations trilogy. She's spent tons of time in the pyramids in Egypt. She's a clairvoyant, she's a seer, she's a psychic. I'm going to read to you a little bit of I'm going to read to you from my book, but I'm quoting and I'm citing that book, if that makes sense. So Patricia Corey says that Sirius A is known as Sophis. Sophis is Isis. And this would be the central sun to our sun. It's 8.7 light years from Earth, moving directly toward us. It's located in the Canis Major constellation. It's also known as the Dog Star. Sirius B is Satais Cetae. It's the white dwarf star. Equivalent mass of our sun, but it's packed in super, super, super dense. It's the size of Earth, but the mass is our sun. And they have an elliptical orbit around Sirius B has an elliptical orbit around Sirius A. So Sirius A, according to Corey, is 3D. Sirius B is the remains of an ascended star. Sirius B, according to Patricia Corey, has traveled through its own astral chords and now exists in the sixth dimension. So for those of you taking the dreaming course, I've talked about the Mayan calendar and the Pleiadian channeling through the 9 dimensions of consciousness. So we can get comfortable. We're in the 3D world. We're in the cold, hard, physical world. If science can't prove it, it doesn't exist. We're entertaining the astral world, 4D. We're entertaining that space. It's a little bit spooky. It's full of light and dark. The media inhabits it and gives us all sorts of scary things and keeps a lot of people shut down from wanting to entertain the magic and the manifestation of the 4th dimension. The 5th dimension is something of oneness. It's an invention of heart. And Corey is saying, and it goes on up. So Patricia Corey is saying that Sirius B has gone through an ascension process and it now exists in the 6th dimension. It's an ascended star. And this star is the home of what she calls the Sirian High Council that is here to help the awakening of Earth, among other things in our solar system. Sirius C is known as Anu. Sirius C, and Corey also says this is what the Dogon tribe are calling Enome-Ya. And it too revolves around Sirius A. So why is this interesting and relevant to the Lion's Gate? At its most basic, we're going through an ascension process. We're going through a massive upheaval, shaking up. There's this polarization that's happening. There's if you're not waking up, it's getting really scary and it's getting really dark. If you are, there's a massive amount of peace that we feel despite the things that we see in our world. We're waking up energetically, we're receiving. So this Lionsgate is a download time, which is why I think all of this is coming through. And I really like to look to channeled sources are great. And as with everything, if it resonates, if you feel it as a yes within your body, then that's your truth. If it doesn't, then no. But then I also love to look at the ancient cultures who haven't left their world for this modern world that we consider superior, right? So the Dogon tribe would be an example, right? They live in the middle of what we would call nowhere in West Africa. I want to go next to South Africa, to another group of people living in what's known as the Timbuktu region. I talked about this in the podcast. This is where these white lions appeared. They're actual physical lions. They are not albino lions. They are, the color is white. This is not a racial statement. This is just, the color is white. Their eyes are bright blue. And I want to really quickly mention a story and a book. And I'm going to get to a medicine woman and what she knows and what these medicine people have communicated. And fast forward, they say they're from the stars and they're likely from Sirius. So their story goes, this woman, Linda Tucker, I believe she was an executive in London or in New York. I forget. She was really into safari. And it was her and her friends would go have safari multiple times. And they were out and they heard that there might be a birth of a baby cat. And the white lions had appeared. And what happens in South Africa is they catch these cats and then they pretend like they're going to keep them in the zoo and then they slaughter them. So that wasn't what these particular people were there, but it was understood the white lions had gone into extinction. They appeared magically, whoop, and then there were too many angry humans who were hunting them and killing them, and then there were no more. So these people who knew the white lions were like, hey, let's go check out and see if there's any white baby lions. So they grab their little beer jugs and they hop into their safari thing, and it's headed to be nighttime. They get right up into nearby and their truck breaks down. And it's just a bunch of Westerners. They have one gun, they have 4 bullets, and the cats are all around them. This is a true story. The book is called The Mystery of the White Lions, written by Linda Tucker. She's now founded the Global White Lion Protection Trust in a kind of a more environmentally friendly to protect these cats. But this is how she got activated. So it's dark, the cats are closing in, Linda Tucker's legs are hanging out over the back. And some people are screaming, some people are telling each other to shut up. And they see coming out of the bush a woman with a baby on her back and 2 small children. They walk right through the pack of lions and say that they go right to the truck. And the woman leaves the 2 little kids with the pack of people and takes the one man who has the gun with the baby on her back through the pack of lions, and they get a new car and everybody's lives are saved. And everybody goes home, and then Linda Tucker's at her job, and one day she just says, I need to go back and figure out, I need to find that medicine woman and just ask her, why did she do that? So she goes back, she finds her name is Maria, she's a medicine woman. So the lion keepers, there's shamans who have this lineage, and they come to, from the time they were young, be able to connect with these lions. So Linda's asking Maria, the Sangoma is what she's called, why did you save us? And Maria, why weren't you scared? And Maria said, well, they're not scary things. And it was
bummer.
Sure, she'll be back on soon, hopefully. Gwyneth, you have the power now.
Hello. Yeah, maybe she's talking away and doesn't realize we've gone. She's gone and we're here.
I hope not. Oh, there she comes.
That's how you're doing something good, when your technology crashes. Getting better at that. I get so frustrated because I like to record things, and those of you who take my classes know I like have a moment where yeah, we're doing it, I'm going to record it and share it, and Zoom is like, no, you're not. Okay, so anyway, So there's this Westerner talking, and she's like, she doesn't understand. The shaman is just speaking in this language. It just says, look, these cats are magical and I'm not afraid of them, and I communicate with them, and they are our ancestors, and they're from the Milky Way. And Linda's just not, and getting frustrated, but then she dedicates her life to this, and now she does have this understanding. Let me make sure this is still recording. Yeah, we're still recording. Okay, so let me look at my notes. So the story of these lions, these African shamans have long understood that these lions came to support humanity during times of crisis. They're here and they've come from the River of Stars, which is what they know to be the Milky Way. Sirius exists in the River of Stars, and they call them children of the sun god. That's another hit on Sirius, right? Because if Sirius is the central sun to our sun, and there's another central sun, these actual physical cats. I want to share a picture of her with this cat. This just shows you the magic of this is a little bit of a dated picture. This is probably like 15 years ago, but look at this. Isn't that so cool? Like, she's just hugging the cat. And so she's definitely cultivated a relationship with them. But the idea is that I think of it as a signal for ourselves. I often like to talk about the ways that we can soothe our rational minds. As even me preparing for this gathering, sometimes I'm like, is everyone going to think I'm crazy? Maybe, I don't know, but then we take what's true. So we can give ourselves these things in the physical world. I believe it helps us get to the higher dimensions. It helps us trust. It helps us open. It helps us feel like we know. And I believe that they're actually physically in these embodiments of this miraculous. Nobody knows how these cats became white. No one knows when they're going to be bird, but the shamans know, and they've expected them, and they know that they're here right now because we're going through a massive awakening and a massive upheaval. Do we all have to go travel there and hug the lion? No, but I think it's interesting to consider that it's something for our mind to be like, yes, something's happening. So let's go back to Egypt for a second. According to Egyptians, there were people from the stars, from Sirius, who came to support them in building their pyramids. They were blue skinned, they were blue in color. And the descendants of these beings from Sirius were thought to be blue bloods. They were part of the Egyptian royalty. Have you ever looked at some of the pictures of some of the Egyptian royalty and realized they have like big elongated heads every once in a while? I should have prepared a picture of them. So in Africa, the Sangoma talks about, she was telling Linda Tucker about how the lion is the king of the beasts. The lion is the king of us. If you think about it, if you were in the middle of the African wild and you saw a lion, the lion would probably win if it wanted to, right? That's the idea. So the lion would be the royalty of the beings that exist on Earth, which is why she started this trust to make sure that we don't kill our royalty who's here to help us, right? So the Sangoma was saying to kill a white lion was to kill Earth and to kill humanity. So what we're going to do, it's going to be a little bit of an energetic practice and a shamanic practice. So the shaman befriends the lion. And one of Maria's initiation rites, when she came from this lineage, they do the divination. Maria said she knew that it was safe to go into those lions. She told Linda Tucker, said they collect these different animal bones and they throw the bones. And according to how the bones lay out, she knew that it was safe for her to proceed through these cats. And the bones, there two of them were feline bones, there's gaboon bones, but it's almost like runes or tarot or something, but that is their lineage of how they are able to connect with these ancestors that are from the stars, that are embodied as the lions, that are also associated with the lineage of the human ancestors that this Sangoma comes from. Before we get to the meditation, I want to share one more interesting story. So Maria was telling Linda Tucker about how these cats are not only her friends, she speaks with them. There's been times where she was living on her own in the wild and she needed food. And she was able to watch the cats make a kill and approach the cats. And as she approached, the cats went off the kill. She cut her piece of meat and then left, and the cats went back. And Linda Tucker, actually, her mind exploded because she said, you know, one of the times we were on a safari, there was a group of people who actually turned out to be sent by Maria. They came with their drums. The cats had just killed some game and they needed food. And so the cats shared their food with these humans, which is interesting, right? Because it's not what I think the overarching thing that they're sharing is, yeah, let your mind explode for a second, because that's how the pieces need to be separated right now. The pieces of our physical world, the pieces of our collective consciousness, which exists in the fourth dimension, it all needs to go apart so that it can fall back together again in a way that is whole and healthy. So that's where we're going to head now to do a meditation. We're going to do a meditation. So you can turn your camera off if you want. You can just close your eyes if you want. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a picture of me with my eyes closed. But go ahead and get comfortable. So we're going to do a little bit of a practice to connect to these star lions, these beings from Sirius, during this portal of sorts. So we're going to start by taking a couple breaths. Breathe in through your nose, then release through your mouth. And see if you can just, in your mind's eye, whether you're seated or lying, just check in with your alignment. See if you can feel your spine straight. And let your jaw relax. Let any tension, just do kind of like a little physical scan of this physical vessel, and let it be that you're just kind of letting go of any holdings, any energetic tension. You can even bring the energy of your breath there if you need. And the idea is just to get into a space of stillness and release so that we can be open. And we're going to call in the 4 directions next. We're going to start with the direction of the sunrise. I'm going to do it for where I live, which is the sunrise is in the east. In your mind's eye, turn yourself to face the sunrise. By turning to face the sunrise, you're calling on that direction. The element associated with this direction is air. The color is golden yellow. The archangel is Raphael. So just by addressing all of those energies, avatars, they're here with us, with you, to create this sacred space to receive this transmission. Let's take a quarter, in my case, clockwise turn to face the direction of the south. South is fire. The element is fire. Maybe just picture a big fire off in the distance. Feel its heat. Color's red. Maybe you can imagine a huge column of red light. The archangel's Michael. Just by addressing all of these avatars and these elements, they're coming to us, to be with us. We'll take another quarter clockwise turn. If you're doing this with me in the Northern Hemisphere. Sunset, west. The element is water. Maybe you can picture a vast lake, a vast ocean with the mist of the body of water. When nearing the full moon, maybe you can imagine a beautiful Luna just hanging out over the water. Column of blue, like the color's blue. It's Archangel Gabriel. So our attention is so powerful just by touching on this for a moment. Our consciousness is inviting water, Gabriel, west, blue energy to come to be with us. Another quarter clockwise turn in your mind's eye, turn to face the north. North is earth. Maybe imagine yourself barefoot and feel the earth beneath you. Imagine that smell, and if it's just a fresh rain or even somewhere less you can breathe, and you can smell the earth. There's a tricolor associated with this direction, and it's black, olive green, and deep burnt orange. So off in the distance can be a column of light that's got all 3 of those colors dancing. The archangel is Uriel. Just by addressing this north, Uriel, earth, tricolor, all of these energies are coming to be with us. And we'll close this circle by taking one more quarter clockwise turn to face the east again. And we're going to call in the next direction. We're going to go down beneath us. Go down into the core of Mama Earth. Feel her energy there and just maybe pull that energy up through your roots or up into your body. Imagine it's just this beautiful golden light coming up into your heart so that you're rooted, you're grounded. And then the next direction is going to be up to the stars, opening to this Lionsgate portal, up to Orion's belt, Sirius, the Milky Way, up, and then invite this energy to start pouring down. And it might just start to come through as beautiful, bright white light, maybe rainbow sparkles. Notice how it feels. Bring it down through your head and bring it into your heart. Final direction is within our heart center that offers the most powerful activation point for us right now. So just feel your heart center. And you've got this golden light from Earth. You've got this beautiful bright white light from Sirius. Heart chakras often emerald green or pink, but let all that mix. You might even put your hands over your heart and just say thank you to yourself and to all these energies for being here with us during this time at this gathering on this day. This is also encapsulated. So if you need more or you find it later, that's good too. So the lion is associated with this huge, magnanimous, courageous heart. See if you can start to vibrate within your own self. Invite what you know as lioness energy, Leo energy, lion energy. It might be kind of in the more 3D, 4D realm, what we know of lions. Feel that start to well within you. And during this time, the astrology is very much one of courage and commitment and just confidence in knowing that all, declaring all is well. Feel that security within you right now. So we're in our heart center, and then just kind of stay in your body still, though. Go back, feel your heart beat. So we're going to be able to integrate this. We're going to go up to higher dimensions, but we're also going to be able to keep this as something that we can know and access in our 3D world. So feel your heartbeat in your chest. Feel your body breathe. So you can be in this physical vessel, and you just called in all these directions, and we're connecting to this lioness energy. Feel how this is you and how perfect this energy is for our planet and for ourselves right now. So we're rooted in earth, we're safe, we're in our hearts, we're in our bodies, we're protected and surrounded by all the directions and all the avatars. Go up now. And it's as if there's this vortex up and out above your crown, and you're just reaching up to the stars. And notice what's coming down for you. They might be codes of light. It might be that you can connect and see Sirius, Orion's belt, the Milky Way, the Lion's Gate. The Lion's Gate is also 2 infinity loops beyond linear time. And now just start to invite these downloads to come through you. So we're headed into the astral world. We're headed into the world of oneness. Part of what's coming through is that all is well. And see if you can simultaneously be in this world right now and really connect, receive this download that all is precisely on time and perfect and well and supported. And if you want to invite any healing energy, if there's anything that's needing to be released, they're also showing that these energies can just transmute any blockages, any heaviness, any fear, anything. And right now we're headed into collective. So it might feel very much, if there's anything that's coming up like you're carrying it for collective. So they're inviting us to release anything for ourselves, but also as an act of service for all. And you might notice that happening in your heart. Our hearts are these portals for transmutation. It might just be that as soon as these light codes and this light comes down from the stars from this portal, it's just anything that is not that is instantly shifted. So let this process happen for a little longer. And it might very well just be beyond words. There might be flashes of images. There might be an emotion coming up. It might be more concrete, but it might not. And we're welcoming in the light. We're opening ourselves to be these vessels of high vibrational, powerful, courageous, strong, healing love. And just feel that hum and buzz through you and feel how comfortable that feels. And this 3D sense of separation is falling away. And as you're receiving this, staying with your heart center at the center of your chest, also staying with that heartbeat, staying with your physical body breathing. And then notice this last portion. If there's any messages they have for you, any images, any flashes, any inspirations. And maybe as you go about your day to day, you can invite those inspirations to make themselves known to you. This lifetime is an act of service, and this portal is supporting us in that. And the beautiful karma about healing is we are the conduit. We receive everything that we offer the world. So invite in more light, and invite in more love, and invite in more strength, and invite in more courage, and invite in more ways of seeing and knowing what's real, what's possible, also what's present right now. And the idea is that we are the change, we are the shift. So as we imagine yourself back out in your day later on today, you're humming. We're all energetic beings. We can all read energy whether or not we realize it, but you're going to be offering this extremely beautiful light to the world. That is the act of service. And just by being willing to offer it, you are it. You're receiving it. So just imagine that. And maybe you decide, when we say in the 7 directions, we stay very safe, we stay very grounded. Maybe you decide to keep this portal open at the top of your head to continue to invite these knowings in. I like to keep all the 7 directions running. If that's not what you're feeling, you can also thank them and call them off. But I believe, and I like to offer, that we are very safe right now. And that declaration, that lioness energetic declaration, that all is well in the 3D, all is well in this 4D astral light and dark, all is well in this higher dimension of oneness. So we're going to just kind of start to come back to this gathering. But again, I invite you to keep that direction up, open, that crown open. Knowing and declaring that you're safe, that you're loved, that you're courageous, that you're strong, that you're clear, that you have all the wisdom and all the knowing that you need. It's wonderful. There's a gentle breeze blowing through. I don't know if you can hear the chimes. It feels very much like Spirit is helping us to declare, and so it is. And when you're ready, just come back to this gathering. The idea is, with that meditation and with these types of transmissions, that this is our future. but there doesn't have to be a time that we've been conditioned to, for example, go to church, be really holy, and then go out of church and be a jerk. This is all connected. This is sacred space because this is planet Earth. So these 7 directions are here with us, and this offering that's really rooted in this heart center. And I love that lions are heart animals. So declare to yourself, and so it is. And maybe after this gathering, you write a couple things down. Maybe you put something on an altar. Maybe, I don't know if anybody, we could also share here if anybody has anything they want to share. That is my offering for this Lion's Gate, by the way. So if anybody has any feedback, I would love to hear it. And this is going to be, I'll put this up on YouTube sometime in the next couple days too.
I just want to thank you. You read a lot, you see other people, you watch other people talk about the Lion's Gate, and in its simplest 3D form of its midpoint between equinox and solstice, right? And all those things, and then a variety of people. And you always add another dimension to it. And I think it just makes me think more. So I jotted a few things down today. So I thank you. And I think it was well worth the time. So thank you.
You're welcome. It was funny that me and the pyramids have a funny relationship, and that I wasn't preparing to share anything about that, but I think there's something interesting about where we're headed, because I think we can all feel this massive need for tremendous change, and it feels impossible, and I don't have the plan, and you're like, all right, well, Spirit, hey, and then I stumble into these things. Well, Nikola Tesla is interested in the pyramids of Giza. That's cool. He must have known they were power plants. They, oh, what if those came back online to help humanity? I remember I went to sleep. I'll share this. This is kind of relevant, but I got into pyramids and I was looking at all the ancient places and civilizations that constructed these things. And I went to bed and I was like, well, hey, I live in North America. Where are they? And the very next day, I met a gentleman who dowsed for a living for gold in Wyoming. And he had found the reason why the Spanish came to this continent in the first place. They were looking for the 7 cities of gold. Our pyramids are in Cibola. They're in lava tubes underground, which is so cool. I don't even know why I'm sharing that or what that means, by the way, but I think it's interesting because one of the things and what part of what's happening is, our minds feel like they're exploding, but then it's like, well, yes, please, and thank you, because God bless COVID, we got off the conveyor belt. Do you know what I'm saying? And so we're really being supported and being like, okay, all I know is that I don't know, but I can tell when I can feel my energetic vessel say yes, then I'm like, okay, I still don't know what that's about. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what that's about, but I know it's relevant. And I know it'll be interesting to see kind of how it continues to unfold for us. And I find that when these downloads come through, they're full of love, and they're full of wisdom, and they're full of this just big hug and conviction that everything is okay. So thank you for sharing. Thank you all for being here. Anybody else have anything else they want to share before we go on our merry high vibrational ways? Okay, well, with that, happy Lionsgate. Thank you all. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for this day and this time and this lifetime. And let's just go out and shine our light today. It's a really nice time to be waking up as a powerful human. So tons of love. Happy Lionsgate.
Thank you. Good to see everybody.
Yes, thank you guys.